Hey everybody, Home Slice Henry here, and in today's video, well, to end out the Ultra League, we are taking a look at one of my favorite Ultra League Pokemon, Leavanny. Leavanny is a bug and grass type, and despite the fact that bug and grass isn't the best typing for the Open Ultra League, it has some very interesting meta wins, including against Cresselia, Obstagoon, and Swampert. So I decided to pair it up with Snorlax and Lapras, hop into some battles, have some fun, and see if we can get some wins. So without further ado, let's hop into these battles and take a look at Leavanny in the Open Ultra League. Alright, picking up definitely a lost lead here in Clefable. Unfortunately, Clefable does resist our bug bites. So we're going to go for the Leaf Blade and then bail into Snorlax. And the reason why I'm running Leaf Blade over Leaf Storm is I do prefer the more consistent damage that Leaf Blade provides, and I don't self-debuff. They actually switch into a Giratina, which is very interesting because I am doing super effective damage with my licks, and they're making a calculated gamble that I am not running Earthquake. And they are unfortunately correct. I do not have Earthquake, so none of my charge moves can basically do any damage to Giratina. So this is a very close and very long mirror match of a lot of resisted damage back and forth. I'm going to be going for the back-to-back body slams here, basically just to stall out the clock in the hopes that they get bored in the mirror match and decide to switch more than anything. Another body slam coming through. Lick damage is putting in work, but these Dragon Claws are adding up rather significantly, unfortunately. Dragon Claw does come through. They throw again. I decide to let this go because, again, I can survive it. And they actually switch into Clefable to try and snipe me. However, I had a move loaded, so I'm able to go for a body slam, and I'm going to switch into Lapras to try and Ice Shard down. Unfortunately, they're able to get to a move. Meteor Mash would hurt, so I am going to shield this up. I'm going to farm down, and I'm going to be in a solid position where I have a nice amount of energy. Let's see what they do have in the back. They have a Cresselia. So I'm going to throw 4 Ice Shards here, so I can time my charge move to make sure that they're not getting any extra turns, and go for the Surf. And with matchups like Lapras versus Cresselia, where you have a 3-turn versus a 2-turn move, you are going to want to throw every 2 moves, because that way you aren't conceding any free turns of energy, so long as you execute fast move denial. This is actually a Future Sight Crest, so that is a rare sight nowadays. I come back into Leavanny, they come into Giratina, and I'm in a tough spot where I need to bug bite down the Giratina. I'm going to need to commit the last shield here, but I should be able to bug bite down, and I'll have a nice amount of energy to throw at this Cresselia. Cresselia does come back in, and we have 2 X Scissors ready to go, so we can start getting some of these shields, and I'm very close to a move on Lapras. Going for the X Scissor, and now going for X Scissor number 2, and they actually let this through, probably because they were afraid of Lapras's energy. They're able to farm me down. I'm going to come back in with Lapras to force them to throw, which they do, and I still have a little bit of health left on Snorlax, so I'm hoping I can lick down, and we're able to lick down and take the game. Whew. So a nerve-wracking game 1, but able to take the win. Alright, picking up a great lead in game 2. This is where we want to see it. They have a Giratina. It's the Dragon Breath variant, so I am going to counter swap with Lapras. The nice thing here is I should be able to win all even shield scenarios so long as they don't have Ancient Power, and by throwing the Dragon Claw, they're showing me that they don't have Ancient Power. So I'm going to be going straight for the Ice Beam. The only way I lose this matchup is if I bait and they call the bait, and they correctly call the bait there, so they are playing out the Zero Shield, which works very nicely for me. I'm going to leave on low health, but I'm going to leave with almost an Ice Beam loaded. Actually, I am leaving with an Ice Beam loaded. So again, going up against a 2-turn fast move user in Swampert, so I'm going to throw 2, throw the move, and then they throw right when I would get to my move, well, actually 1 turn before, to make sure that that energy goes to waste. And, oh, they have a Typhlosion in the back. This is where things get very difficult. Typhlosion, being a fire type, absolutely destroys Leavanny, so I need to be very careful here. And they know it, so they are going to be shielding up. I think my win con here is I have to call the Blast Burn. It is the Blast Burn, so we're in an okay situation here. I'm very carefully timing when I throw my charge moves to try and optimize as much lick damage as I can and to prevent them getting any free Incinerates. I'm able to get to the last body slam in the middle of the Incinerate that kills me. That'll get them very low, and then we just need to get to a move. I throw the X Scissor. Technically, Leaf Blade does more damage. I just needed to get to a move. And Swampert comes back in, and we're going to absolutely destroy Swampert, so they concede the match. All right, picking up a terrible lead in Giratina. For Giratina leads, I safe swap into my Snorlax and hope to scare them off. We scare them off and we bait out a Melmetal. This is actually pretty good for us. Like, Snorlax doesn't have a great Melmetal matchup, but I would rather see it here than in the back against my Lapras, so we're in an okay spot. We're going to be going for the back-to-back superpowers, and we do get a shield. This is great, because hopefully we can give our Lapras a shield advantage endgame. Okay, that's fantastic. Able to land the superpower, and they're going for another move. I am quite debuffed, so they can just go for a Rock Slide here. I'm going to get to a Body Slam, so they're forced to throw again. Very nice counting by my opponent, recognizing that they had to throw, or else they would have had to burn a second shield. Alright, I am going to have to try and Bug Bite this thing down. Bug Bite is resisted, but I can tank a Rock Slide. It hurts a lot, but it's non-stab, so we can tank it, which is pretty good. I think I can farm down, and I miscount, so this is really unfortunate. I am going to have to shield here. You hate to see it, and I'm going to be switching out right away into Lapras, and they have a Swampert in the back. This feels winnable. I am able to sneak an extra Ice Shard through, which is great. I call the bait. It's just a Hydro Cannon. So since we called that bait, we are now in a potentially winning position. They do shield up the Surf, so all shields are gone. So we're in an okay spot. And we get another free Ice Shard through. I call it again, and it's another Hydro Cannon because an Earthquake would not have killed me from that range. And we are going to be going for the Surf. It does get them very low. And if we can farm down, we can be in an okay spot. As you can see, I did try and catch there. Unfortunately, was not able to. And they have two. Ooh, this is kind of rough. This is going to get us low. The Giratina comes in. I am going to be able to land the Ice Beam, which does massive super effective damage. And then I need to bail into Leavanny. I do go for the X-Scissor. Again, a mistake. Leaf Blade does more damage here, but I just need to land two moves, which I'm able to do. So even with an absolutely terrible lead, Leavanny still able to clutch it out and get the win, and we're able to Bug Bite down the 1 HP Swampert. Let's go. Hopping into the next match here, and we're picking up an absolutely terrible lead in Talonflame. Honestly, the rise of Talonflame in the Open Ultra League did make me a little worried to run Leavanny this time around, because being a bug grass type, Leavanny is absolutely helpless. Fortunately for me, the Talonflame is actually staying in. This is really, really good for me, because that way it's not lined up against my Leavanny. They throw 3 Incinerate, so they're probably going for a Brave Bird. I throw this Body Slam, which will not KO, and they're probably going for the Brave Bird here. So I do decide to shield this up. They go for the Brave Bird, and they switch into a Shiftry, but my switch clock is almost up, so I'm going to be able to align my Leavanny with Shiftry, and Leavanny absolutely destroys Shiftry. Look at the Bug Bite damage. Oh my goodness. Shiftry gets absolutely melted by Leavanny. You absolutely love to see it. Talonflame comes back in, and it's in Leaf Blade range, so they have to actually shield. 1 Incinerate does so much damage. We're able to get to another Leaf Blade, and if they don't shield, they just die. They don't shield, they died. They have a Snorlax of their own in the back. We're just able to get to a Leaf Blade on very low HP. This does some really important chip damage, and we should be in an okay spot. They have a lot of energy, but we have a health advantage, plus we have a loaded Body Slam on our Snorlax. And since they probably know that we have energy in back, they're unlikely to superpower, strictly just because they don't want to lower their defense and move themselves into Body Slam territory. All right, back-to-back Body Slams. And my goal is I'm going to be throwing 4 Ice Shards and then trying to catch onto my own Snorlax. All right, try and catch. Unfortunately, not quite able to do so, so I am going to have to eat the move. It's just a Body Slam, so I can actually survive this, which is great. I'm going to be going for the Surf, which does not quite KO because they did not superpower, but I'm able to come in with my own Snorlax, lick down, and take the win. So able to take a win versus a hard counter lead in Talonflame. You love to see it. What's up next? Another Talonflame. Oh no. All right, we're going to be coming in with our Snorlax, and they bring in an Alolan Muck. So Alolan Muck is not a traditional Snorlax counter, so if we play this right, we may be able to flip this, especially since the Talonflame was stuck in the Incinerate animation, so we do have a couple licks head start. We can let the first move through, and they can let our first move through, and from here, I'm going to try and throw Body Slams, but constantly overfarm to threaten the Superpower to hopefully get some shields. Body Slam coming through, we're able to get the shield, which is really nice. And we're going to throw Body Slam again right on their CMP. We shield it up, and they're going to be shielding up our Body Slam, and I believe we should outpace them, and I believe we should get to the Superpower right in the middle of their fourth Snarl. 3, and in the middle of the fourth one, we're able to get to the Superpower, and Superpower is going to be enough to take them out and flip switch, which is huge. They have an Obstagoon in the back. So my guess is they probably read that I had a back line that was double weak to fighting, so they decided to preserve the counter user. But unfortunately, by not bringing in the hard counter, I was able to flip switch, so now their fighting type... Sorry, their counter user, Obstagoon is actually not a fighting type, is paired up against my Leavanny, which is my preferred alignment. They go for the Hyper Beam. Leavanny's a monster and can tank it. Talonflame comes in. Talonflame is going to farm up to 100, but I'm at 2 Surfs. So I'm basically in a spot where I can kill them. They go for the Brave Bird. That's not going to kill me. 1 Surf is going to kill them now because of their lower defense, and then I have a 2nd Surf available for that Obstagoon. Perfect. So we are able to conquer back-to-back Talonflame leads and get the win. You absolutely love to see it. All right, hopping into the next match here. Let's see what they have for me. Leavanny into Giratina. Boy, these leads are rough. We're going to save swap into our Snorlax, and this is a Dragon Breath Giratina, so this is not a great matchup for us, so I'm hoping that they decide to switch out. They go for the Dragon Claw to chip, and then they come in with Empoleon. I'm really trying to get to 2 superpowers before they get to their Hydro Cannon. I fall just short. I am able to get 1 off, though, which does a nice amount of chip damage. But instead of throwing the Body Slam, which I should have, I go for the 2nd superpower, and I just go down. This is not great. I'm going to come in with my own Leavanny. I can't quite Bug Bite down, so I throw my Leaf Blade on their 5th Waterfall, so they can't hit me for double super effective damage with a Drill Peck. They're going to be coming back in with the Giratina most likely, and I'm going to be bailing into my Lapras. I come into my Lapras, and they stay in. This is really, really interesting. That means something in back has a worse Lapras matchup than Giratina, which means it's probably a flyer, either a Togekiss or an Articuno. I do something I never do in this matchup. I bait, strictly because if they're staying in here, they're so weak that they're going to expend shields to try and take me out. And that bait is absolutely huge. And now I'm going to go for the nuke. I'm hoping that they saw me bait once, and they're like, oh, he's going to bait again and call it. Unfortunately, they double shield, so now it's basically confirmed in my mind that it's a flyer in back. I need to shield up, and we're going to try and commit to the farm down. Since they're a Dragon Breath user, they generate energy a lot slower than Shadow Claw. And it's a Togekiss in the back. Okay, so we get off our Ice Beam, which is big. The issue is, though, we have Leavanny left in back, which can only do resisted damage. These charms are chunking, able to get to the Leaf Blade. Will this be enough to take out the Togekiss? It is resisted damage, and it just is. So an incredibly close game, still able to clutch it out and get the win. And in the final match, picking up a great lead in Swampert. Most Swamperts in the Open Ultra League are running Hydro Cannon and Earthquake as opposed to Sludge Wave, so Leavanny can tank all of these charge moves no problem. Leaf Blade does get the shield, and I decide to call it. It's just a Hydro Cannon, which we can tank. They go for another Hydro Cannon, which, again, we can tank. We're not too worried about that. And my opponent makes a very nice play of catching onto their Cresselia, where the Leaf Blade does significantly less damage. So I plan to return the favor, so I farm up here, and I switch into my Snorlax to tank that damage. I do want to preserve the Leavanny endgame in case I do need to nuke that Swampert. They build up to 7 Psycho Cuts, so this is going to be a Moonblast, and then they're going to be on their 3rd cycle, which only takes them 5 to get to a Grass Knot. So I throw on the 5th, and I'm really hoping this Body Slam's enough to take them out. Unfortunately, it's just not, and they're able to get to a Grass Knot. I believe I should barely survive there. Okay, I do. That's not bad. And let's see what they do have in the back here. They have a Talonflame. I don't time it particularly well. I let an Incinerate through. We're able to get off the Body Slam, but we die. But on the bright side, we have alignment. And Talonflame can be handled on this team if you have proper alignment. I'm going to call this Brave Bird, totally fine. Lapras is an absolute monster. They have a Swampert in the back, and here's where that saved energy comes in clutch. Because we're going to be able to force that last shield off of Swampert and pressure them into throwing their energy since they switched out with energy. I don't want them to go into the Lapras matchup with energy, so I am going to pressure them into burning all of their energy here to take out my Leavanny. And since they should be energy dry, I can throw 2 Ice Shards, throw the Surf, which I'm hoping will be enough to take them out. It's going to be very close. Not quite. 1 Ice Shard does, though. And then my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. So all in all, I had a ton of fun running Leavanny. I would not recommend using it if you're trying to rank up. The current Open Ultra League meta is very hostile to a bug grass type Pokemon, and I did end up losing more games than I won with this team, but I had a ton of fun with it, and that's the beauty now that I have hit Legend, is I can really just have fun with it and just basically run whatever teams I want to. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and a huge thank you to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely amazing, so thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been Home Slice Henry.